Welcome to the Invest and Transform channel. I'm Ty Desa. Today we're talking about the 10 basic action steps that you can take to get started in real estate investing. Whether you're considering being a house flipper and generating lots of cash, or perhaps you're considering being a landlord and building wealth in the long run, this video is for you. I got started in real estate investing 20 years ago, made a lot of mistakes, lost a lot of money, and I learned a lot from those mistakes. And I want to share my knowledge with you so you can avoid the costly mistakes that I made and get started on building your wealth and your legacy today. The first step is figure out your financing. How much cash do you have saved up that you want to apply toward your investment property? Armed with that knowledge, go talk to your banker. Ask them about non owner occupied mortgage loans. About the same time, also talk to a mortgage broker. There's somebody who can shop amongst 10, 15, maybe even 30 different banks to find the right loan product for you. Now, there's also other financing options. We're not going to get into them in this video. There's private money and there's hard money. And there's also types of partnerships where maybe you partner with somebody who puts up all the money and you do the deal. We're going to talk about that in other blogs and videos. For today, we're just assuming that you're going to have a traditional mortgage loan, maybe 20% down, 80% loan to value to buy the investment property. One other hot tip about financing is that you can have up to four different mortgage lenders pull your credit in the same 30-day cycle, and it really won't ding your credit that much. It'll be as if your credit were pulled only once. So you want to shop around all in the same 30-day cycle. The next action step is to determine your strategy. Do you want to generate lots of cash by flipping houses? Do you want to be a landlord and collect rents and build wealth over time? We have other blogs and videos at investandtransform.com and on our YouTube channel that allow you to determine, is flipping better? Is being a landlord better? What do you want to do? What do you want to create? So determine your strategy. That will lead us into what to do next. The third step is pick your market. For most of you, I recommend you start close to home, maybe within a 30 to 40-minute drive max. Why? Because you want to be able to check on your property. You want to be able to meet the contractors, to observe what's going on, maybe meet with tenants if there's an issue. You don't want to have to be traveling hours to get to your property if you can help it. Now, I do recognize that some of you live in an area where the price points are just not affordable for you as an investor. So you may have to consider going into a different market, maybe even a different state. And I've done that before too. It just comes with its own unique challenges, but it is possible. The next step is to build your power team. You've already gotten a head start on this because you've chosen your mortgage lender. Now you want to pick your realtor. Choose a realtor who is either an investor themselves or who works with lots of investors. Now, you also want to build out your contractor team. That includes a remodeling or general contractor, a plumber, an electrician, and a handyman, maybe a painter. So make sure you start building those relationships and choose an accountant and a lawyer. I go through how to build a great power team and actually tips on all 10 action steps in my book, How to Become a Wealthy Real Estate Investor 101 Things You Need to Know Right Now. It's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Just click here to go to my website to get the book. The next action step is to go shopping. Now, you want to ask your realtor to set you up on automated emails from the multiple listing service. The MLS is a great place to find real estate deals. Now, I know there are a lot of off market opportunities too. I'm not going to spend much time talking about them here because for your first, your second, your third deal, getting them with your realtor on the MLS is actually a really good idea. My wife and I, while we do buy off market deals, the majority of our properties have come from the MLS. Now, there is a simple metric that I've used for years. I first heard this from Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's the 110-3-1 rule. The 110-3-1 rule works like this. You're looking at those emails that your realtor is sending you, and you're also looking at Zillow or maybe Realtor.com, and you'll consider 100 properties online. Out of that 100, you filter the list down to 10 that you actually see in person with your realtor. Then, out of those 10 properties, you may make three offers. And out of those three offers, maybe one seller will actually accept it. And that's likely the property you're going to buy. So that is a good ratio that I've generally used my entire career. As I mentioned, there's a lot of other ways to find deals, off market deals, private deals. You can go to my website, investingtransform.com. I have a lot of tips there on how to find pre foreclosures, foreclosures, short sales, properties off market from private landlords. I call them tired landlords. But for now, when you're starting off, I strongly recommend you really consider the properties that are listed on the MLS. Step number six is do your analysis. If you're a landlord or a flipper, you will want to figure out the after repair value. For a house flipper, you're probably buying a fixer upper, so you can add some value and create that profit margin. If you're a landlord, you might be paying full price for a move in ready home, or you might be paying a discount for a fixer upper. But you want to know the after repair value either way. Then, if you're a flipper, you want to know what your potential renovation costs are and work the numbers backwards. There is a rule known as the 70% rule. I talk about that in my blogs on investingtransform.com. So go check that out or look at our videos on YouTube for more information on that. If you're a landlord, you want to know what the market rents are. A great resource is rentometer.com. I use the pro version of that. It's fantastic. I also go to Zillow to check out their Zestimate for rents. They don't have it for every property, but it is still a good metric. So you want to do your analysis and determine what your offer price should be. The seventh step is make your offer. You get with your realtor, you come up with price and terms. And sometimes the terms may be what gets you the deal. Now, I get it that you want to go as low as possible on the price, yet you still have to realize that if you go way too low, somebody else will snatch up the property, especially if it's a good deal. Uh, Now, you want to do this. You want to offer terms that make the seller say yes. One is close on the date that the seller really wants. We had a deal once where the seller said that they wanted 3.5 months until the closing so they could have time to go buy another house. So we said, sure, we're investors. We'll wait 3.5 months to close on the date that you want. And the sellers picked our offer, even though it was not the highest offer. Some other things to consider about making an offer. Number one, you got to move fast. Some of these hot deals will be gone by the end of the first day. On one of the hot deals that my wife Amir and I got, it was listed on the MLS in the morning. We saw it and scheduled a showing for 12 noon. We wrote an offer and submitted it at 2 p.m. that day. The realtor contacted us and said that there were two other offers on the house. In the end, we got the property because we offered to close in 17 days, which is what the seller wanted. Some other things you need to know is that you want to create terms that make the seller say yes. The lower you go on the price, the more you have to win on terms. Something that my wife and I have done is if we come in below the asking price, oftentimes we may waive a home inspection. I don't recommend waiving a home inspection for a novice investor. I want you to be able to do your home inspection. And home inspections can be very useful because you can negotiate after you get your report and maybe a contractor estimate that is supportive of what is found in the inspection report. That kind of information may make a seller be willing to give you a credit or a reduced price. Step eight is do your due diligence. Now that you're under contract, it's time to learn a little more about your property. If you elected to do a home inspection, go ahead and do it. Also, bring your contractor through the property. Get an estimate started for the work that you intend to do. Have the contractor be a second set of eyes to spot anything that's amiss. If you have to go check with the zoning office or with the title company, go ahead and do that too. Check with your insurer. Have your insurance agent pull a loss history report on the property. That way, you'll know if the seller had done any recent insurance claims for damage. So make sure you do the research on your property. If your property is rented and you want to continue renting to that party, ask for the lease. Also, check to see if the tenant is current on the rent. And as part of your due diligence, start interviewing if you haven't already for a property manager unless you want to self manage. Step number nine is buy the property. You've worked out the financing, you've worked out the details of the title company. You've ordered the insurance and transferred the utilities. Now it's time to take over the project. If you're doing any type of renovation, I strongly recommend that you get started right away. My wife and I like to have our contractors start work the day that we buy or the very next day. We tend to have all of our construction materials purchased up front so that way they can be delivered to the house on the closing date or the day after. So be ready to get moving. Time is money. Don't let your house sit vacant for too long. The 10th step is manage and stabilize the property. If you're doing renovations, you want to walk the job site at least twice a week to keep an eye on the contractors and to be able to learn things and ask good questions. If you are going to rent the property out, make sure that you or your property manager have it ready to go, clean, neat, and sturdy, so you can attract lots of tenant applicants and choose the best one. If you're flipping the property, you want to stay on schedule and prepare it for sale. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm Ty Desa. Go to investingtransform.com for tons of free information on how to build wealth in real estate. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We put out new content every week. Follow me on Instagram at Desa Ty and go to our Invest and Transform Facebook group. Thank you, everyone. Happy investing.